and welcome to At Home with Steph. Today we're going to be in the kitchen and we're going to make snickerdoodles, one of my favorite cookies. So first things first, we're going to get all of our ingredients, and we're going to also preheat the oven to 375 degrees. So let's do that real quick. So now that we've preheated our oven, let's get started. First things first, we're going to want to soften our butter. Not melt it, just soften it up a little bit so that it's easier to handle. So we're going to want to take our butter. It's a whole stick of butter, so half a cup of butter. And we're going to put it into our little bowl, and then we're going to soften it. So like I said, you don't want it completely melted. You just want enough where it's soft. Alright, let's go soften that butter. So now that we've softened our butter, we're going to put it into our mixing bowl. And then we're going to put the bowl aside because this recipe does involve eggs, and I always like to have a bowl on the side that I can crack the eggs into to ensure that there's no shells. So now that we put our butter in, we're going to put in 1.5 cups of sugar. So let's get our half cup. There we go. And now that we have our sugar, we need 1/2 cup of shortening. So pull our shortening here. And now you can buy your shortenings in either tubs like what I have here, or you can buy them in sticks. And I find the sticks easier to measure out when you have to do something that's an exact measurement. But for the amount of cooking that I like to do, this is just more economical. So you just want to get 1/2 cup in there. You just want to kind of mush it down and make sure that you really do have 1/2 cup. So. Alright. And then we'll drop that into our mixing bowl. Put that aside. Now we're going to need 2 eggs. So we're going to bring that bowl back that we melted our butter in so that we have something to just kind of crack the eggs into. Egg number 1. And egg number 2. Now that we've gotten all of our ingredients into the bowl, we're going to just do a light mixture of it with the mixer. So we're just going to beat this until it's nice and light and fluffy. So it shouldn't take very long. Alright. So this is about the consistency that you want. It's nice, it's light, and it's fluffy. So we'll take our blade off. And then we'll move the bowl back to the table. So now that we've got our mixture of the eggs, sugar, butter, and shortening nice and fluffy, now we're going to want to add our flour. So we need about 2 3/4 cups of flour. Alright, so there's our 2 3/4 cups of flour. Now that that is in the mixing bowl, we're going to want to add our cream of tartar. So you need 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. So now that we've put our 2 3/4 cups of flour in the bowl, now we're going to need our cream of tartar. Now you only need 2 teaspoons of this. So let's Just kind of. Now that we've put our cream of tartar in, we need a teaspoon of baking soda. And then we need about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. But again, I don't use salted butter, so that's why I'm putting it in. If you do use salted butter, you don't have to put salt into the mixture. So I just give it a couple of cranks and call it good enough. So now that we've got everything in, the rest of the ingredients into the mixing bowl, now we're going to take it back to the mixer and mix it all up, and then we'll be able to form the balls for the cookies, and then we'll get those on the cookie sheet. So let's get that on the mixer. So now we're just going to want to mix it until it's nice and combined. We don't want any flour balls to form or anything, so we just want it nice and combined. Now that it's nice and combined, we're going to stop the mixer and we're going to take it back to the table. Okay, now that our mixture is complete, we're going to take a separate bowl and we're going to put in 6 tablespoons of sugar. Then we need to put in 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now here you can put in a little extra cinnamon if you like this, if you like cinnamon, especially. But I find they come out just fine with just the 2 teaspoons. So now that you've got the sugar and the cinnamon in the bowl, you just want to give it a nice little mixture so that everything is nice and combined. Wonderful. You're going to want to take some of your cookie dough and just form it into small little ball shapes. You can just do that by grabbing some dough and kind of just rolling it in your hand. And then you're going to roll it through the bowl of the cinnamon and sugar mixture, and then you just put it on the sheet. So you just want to do a real light roll. You don't need to necessarily roll it so that it's really thickly coated. It's just extra flavoring. Now that you've got all of your cookie dough rolled out into balls and then rolled through the sugar and then put on your pans, you just want to kind of press them down just a little bit because they don't expand very much. So you just want to make sure that they're nice and kind of flat. And once you're done with that, then go ahead and put them in the oven. So let's grab our baking dishes. So you're going to put them in the oven, like I said, at 375. And you're going to do it for about 10 to 12 minutes. I'll see you in about 10 minutes. And welcome back. Now let's check on our cookies. Oh man, don't those look delicious? Perfect. Look at those cookies. Aren't those just looking delicious? So now you're going to want to let them sit for just a few minutes to let them finish baking and to let them rest a little bit. And then you're going to want to transfer them onto a cooling rack. So I'm going to let those sit. Alright, now that we have all of the cookies off of the baking sheets and onto the cooling racks, we'll let them cool for about 5 minutes. Or basically until they're cool to the touch. Once they're cool to the touch, then they're pretty much safe to eat. So you won't burn your mouth or anything. So now that these cookies are nice and cool, you're going to want to have to grab yourself one and just take a little bite because they are so delicious. Oh my goodness, these are delicious. So that's it for today with At Home with Steph. Make sure you either like or subscribe, give us a thumbs up, And I'll see you next time.